And welcome to another episode of Dumbbell. We are now, believe it or not, 5 weeks in, so we're now on episode number 5.
Yeah. Can you believe that? Over a month.
Over a month of this.
Up with us.
What's on?
So, today's show, we've got a jam-packed show for you today. Before we get on to the plan for today, we have had some few questions coming into us. We've sifted through them all, and it's actually about your hair.
Interesting.
Interesting from our viewers, why you wear a hat, have you got any hair, what's the mystery going on? So yeah.
I can assure you I do have hair, quite a lot of hair. I wear hats to literally hide the sheer lack of effort of lockdown. This kind of gives you a rough idea as to how much hair I'm hiding.
Okay, so yes, he does have hair, and on that, to get you guys involved a little bit as well, we've both got pretty bad barnets right now, so we're going to do a poll. I want you to poll in the comments who's got the worst haircut right now. It is lockdown, so you can't answer that. No,
the winner of the poll has to shave their head.
Wait a minute. Anyway, let's move on to what's on today before it gets too far. So today we are joined by Shamsul Ali. He's going to be talking to us about becoming the world's first Bengali men's physique champion. He won the British Championships in 2018, so it's great information from him about training, nutrition, and how to build it into your own program. We'll also have our product review, where we are reviewing liquid chalk. See about the old grip test. Mega grip it's called. So we're going to be doing that. We are also talking to Marty Rice, who runs South Coast Powerhouse in Bournemouth. He's a gym owner. He's going to be talking to us about all things gym related, how to keep a member motivated and things like that as well. Yeah.
Well done, mate. That wasn't even scripted.
It wasn't.
That's really, really good. So we'll swiftly move on to the much loved by all, the new body, Dumbbell news and weather. Slightly delayed. I'm waiting for the call to come through in my ear. No, now we're good. So we're going to go live to the studio for the news and weather with our host, Nick Bell. Over to you. Live from the New Body Studio, your host, Nicholas Bell, with today's news report.
Hello!
Nick, your balls are on the desk.
Sorry about that. Oh,
Nick, your balls are still on the desk.
God.
Get your balls out of the shop.
Right. Hello?
Come on, your balls.
Here we go. Hello and welcome to the news. It's fantastic to be back here in the studio once again, bringing you the latest headlines from the New Body team. So let's have a look at the updates. Well, we are on the lookout. We have lost our Dumbbell board. So if anyone has any information on where that might have gone, please contact us now on our hotline. The poll for the Worst Barnet Award is hotting up, so make sure you cast your vote. Is it Ross or is it me? I think we all know that answer. Look at that. Other news. We're still closed. Okay. How long is that going to last? Let's move on. Yep. We do have a live weather update from our man on site. Ross is on site. He's going to bring you our latest weather.
Okay, thanks for that, Nick. What a glorious day. Look at the sunshine. All you need is a sleeveless hoodie. Get your sunglasses on. Get ready for that top-up tan. Ready for the summer, and you're good to go. I'm going to go back to... back to the studio.
saw that one coming, especially not Ross. Who'd have thought? A tidal wave in Weymouth. Thanks for the weather update. That was the news. We're back to the boys in the studio.
And welcome back. Thanks again to Nick and Ross for extremely detailed news and weather report. Just goes to show newsreaders can multitask. Who have we got first of all?
So earlier in the week, we caught up with Shamsul Ali, the world's first Bengali men's physique champion. He talked to us about training and nutrition and getting your habits started as well. So yeah, here's what happened.
Good, I think.
Well, we're now live.
We are recording.
We're recording.
We're streaming all over the world.
We're on.
Right, so welcome to Shamsul Ali for joining us on this episode of Dumbbell. I've known Sham for a few years now. He's big in the men's physique world. He was actually the first Bengali men's physique champion. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was in general in 2015, and then we did the British in 2018. So yeah, but
yep. So I say he's been big into the competing world of bodybuilding and men's physique training, which is a very full-on lifestyle. So we brought him on today to talk about that, talk about how he kind of came off the stage, what he's doing now, and kind of future plans, and go from there. So give us a little bit of an intro into yourself, what you've done, and yeah, let us know.
Well, firstly, thanks for having me, and it's an honour to be on Dumbbell. Is that what we're calling it? Yeah, awesome. I like it. So my name is Shamsul Ali. I started competing in 2015, and I'll be completely honest, when I started doing it, I didn't know what direction I was going in any way, shape or form. And it wasn't until I started looking into role models for myself within the Asian community, being sort of my mum and dad being Bangladeshi, and I looked, I had no one to sort of aspire to be like. So I did a competition. It went terribly, terribly bad, which was fine because it was my first ever competition, but I learned a lot. And then I went in and did another competition, and I somehow won it. And I was over the moon with that win. And as I won it, I realized I was actually the first ever Bengali person to win any sort of fitness or bodybuilding competition. So that was really cool. And I was able to sort of promote that. And I had tons of, there was a moment, and I remember it. It was a really surreal moment. I would wake up and I would have like 300 Facebook friend requests. And I went through a phase where I was like waking up every day and I was getting like hundreds and hundreds of friend requests from Bengali, Bangladeshi people. And it was just cool. And I was like, wow, I want to ride this wave. And carrying on with my competing, which I was planning on doing anyway, it just sort of grew and grew. And yeah, I sort of just kept competing and kept growing this Asian sort of community background following, which is really cool, which I've still got today.
So is training and bodybuilding and all that type of thing, is it a big thing over there, or is it just completely
It's growing.
Yeah.
It's growing massively. So when I was doing it in 2015-16, it was really small. And now I look at Facebook and I look at, I watch like a Bangladesh bodybuilding competition they have every year. They have 2 or 3 now. And yeah, it's just becoming massive. Gyms are opening up big, and they're also having like the fitness clothes brands and things like that are starting to appear from everywhere. So yeah, really lovely to be like a growing sort of industry over there. And yeah, it's quite nice that, you know, a lot of them still message me and follow me and say really nice messages, like, you know, how I inspired them at the beginning. They've got their own massive superstars over there now, which I follow a few, and they're really quite impressive. So, you know, they've got them to follow now, which is awesome. So, but I just think it's really nice.
So do you think you were part of that movement, that journey in becoming it? Were you quite an inspiration to others back in like 2015 sort of time?
Yeah, I like to think I was. And I mean, when it was, things were blowing up for me in a really lovely way, and I had a few like I was in Muscle and Fitness, I was in Flex magazine, and I had a few photo shoots and things where I was, you know, actually published into these magazines. Oh yeah, I mean, I had lots of people messaging me saying how much I was an inspiration to them. So yeah, no, definitely, yeah, I felt it, and it was amazing. So
Going
when
back
I
to what you said around the 20, like your first competition that you entered that kind of went terribly wrong, and but it was an experience. And then you said the next one you actually won it. What was the time difference in between that you kind of shook things up and?
Yeah, I can tell you the exact dates. So the first competition I ever done was like on the 15th of April, and it was the 9th of September, which I then did my second ever competition. And one thing I'll always remember is how going into that competition, the first one, I had a feeling of, I look okay, you know, I definitely look better than I've ever looked before in my life and all these things. And I was still eating kind of rubbish here and there. So I'd still eat a bit of, because it was around Easter time, I was still eating a bit of chocolate here and there and just taking it a bit more relaxed. When I did the competition and really seeing how fierce and bloody amazing the guys were that I was competing against, and that I definitely stood no chance if I thought about cheating on a diet. So when I then thought, right, I'm going to do a competition in September, I really went full, like sort of, you know, didn't cheat on my diet, really like focused on everything I was eating and training religiously and consistently, and just, yeah, nailed it completely on my own, which I'm really proud to say. And yeah, literally to win it, it changed everything for me. Yeah. So yeah, I never expected it, if I'm honest. So yeah, it's really good.
For the people who are watching at home who might not kind of know about too much about competing or going on stage and just thinking, you know, or got preconceived ideas about a bodybuilder just must be a massive guy who's just massive into the gym. Give us a quick breakdown of how men's physique changes and the difference between bodybuilding, all the different kind of classes and things.
Yeah, well, the first thing I do have to say is I am a very like sort of a slight person, thin I'm like a thin build. Now, I thought I was definitely going to be oversized by everyone, which I was. I was probably the lightest and the smallest person on stage. But this is what I loved about men's physique. It was all about shape, condition, symmetry. It was about how you looked, a bit more aesthetically pleasing, as opposed to just being like as big as you can be, as dry and as big, you know, hard looking. So yeah, so that's why I went into that industry of men's physique as opposed to bodybuilding. It was like the step in, because bodybuilding was too far, or definitely like a category I would never have physically been able to even be competitive in. So that was one thing I would say to anybody who wants to know the differences between men's physique and bodybuilding. But I would say everything else is still the same. The diet is similar. The training structure is similar. It's as hard. You have to train as hard as you would to become a bodybuilder as you would to become a men's physique guy. And I think that's something I learned within a year or two, like really in a big way, because I did think it was going to be an easier category, and it definitely isn't. It's just as competitive as bodybuilding, but they just look for they're looking for something different from the judges' eyes. So
where the win for you was kind of like a bit out there, you weren't expecting it, sort of thing. What was your drive? What was your momentum in carrying you forward to actually do that next competition, having such a bad experience on the first one and knuckling down, sorting out your diet, your training, and everything else? Where was that momentum? If the aspiration at the time wasn't to win, what was it at that time for you?
At the time, it definitely was. I felt I didn't bring my best package, because I knew I was eating a little bit of chocolate around the Easter time. And I remember sort of eating pasties and things like that. And I just remember not fully focusing on it. And I just thought, right, I want to see what I can be. I want to see what my best is, and then take that to the stage and see how I compare to others. And I'll be God's honest truth, if I would have got a top 3, that was the aim. I would have been over the moon, and obviously to get first place was even better. But that was it. That was my main drive, because I wanted to see my best version by far. That I wanted to see my best I could get. And then the fact that I did, like I mentioned, had all these people friend requesting me, following me. When all that started snowballing, it was a case of, right, I got people watching me now as well. So that was a big drive as well, and an amazing push and amazing support. So yeah, it was really, so it was those two things. It was both of those things.
Then fast forward to 2018, you had a couple of years. Was that just a couple of years off, or were you still competing then, or did you?
No, consistently competing. And my biggest thing that happened in my bodybuilding, in my career so far, was in 2016 when I competed in one of the biggest shows of the year. And I always remember doing this, thinking to myself, I'm going to go for the biggest show I possibly can. Again, like what you just asked me, what happened from the first show to the second. It was, again, to bring my best and see what I could do competing against the best. So I won a competition and I thought to myself, right, I want to bring my best against bigger and better people. Let's see what happens there. And yeah, amazing result. I won. And not only that, it was getting spotted by companies. I got spotted by a coach, one of the world's greatest coaches called Neil Hill. I highly recommend anybody to follow him if they're watching this. And he took me under his wing and then took me to the next level. So that's a big thing that happened in 2016 that led me to 2018 to continue on and grow and to win the British finals.
That's it. So what, and then 2018, you won the British finals. That's the pinnacle of UK bodybuilding. The best federation and things like that. What did you kind of just feel like, right, that's the end point then, or where was the next stage for you from that point?
Yeah, so this really then delves into my personal life, this point, because this is it. In 2017, talking about motivation and drives, in 2017, I was just always going for that win, the win in the British finals. And in 2017, I came second at the British finals. And in 2018, I was at a point where I was losing drive. I was losing a bit of momentum, in the sense that it is hard. It's a hard thing to do. I was working full time. A lot of people don't realize that. I was working a full-time job, 9 to 6, stressful sales job, which I love. I didn't dislike the job. And I had a bigger drive. I needed a bigger drive in order to push me to that 2018 British finals. So not only did I have you helping me, Nick, which I really appreciate massively, because you helped me in my 2018 journey with obviously the gym and my competition prep. And it was the fact that I was having the birth of my son in December 2018. And this is where I will push this to the next level for anybody watching this. So not only was it to compete, it was finding something that would give me enough drive to make sure I pushed myself to the limit. Every day I trained, every day I did cardio, every meal I ate, I needed a new motivation, and I found it in the birth of my child. Not saying that everybody needs to go and get pregnant, but basically my drive that year was I wanted to be the British champion when my son was born. And that would have been something then forever, which will never be forgotten by me. My son would always have been born as his father being the British champion. And that was it. That was genuinely my drive. That made me wake up at 6 o'clock every day, day in, day out, to go and do cardio, even when I was tired, when I was dying and weak and hungry.
I think that's the other thing is, like, people will underestimate actually what goes into getting prepared for a competition, let alone a British finals where everything is, you've worked your whole, for years and years and years. So give us an overview of maybe a week or a day of what that preparation might look like.
Well, the most horrible thing about it is the fact that this is all fine tuning to one day. And if that one day goes Pete Tong, all of that was wasted. That's the scary part. So yeah, a day in the life. Oh my God, it would literally be up early, talking around 6 o'clock at latest in my life, because I had a job, in order to physically get to do about 30 to 40 minutes worth of cardio, incline walking, cross trainer, or skipping, something like that. I would never do running. It's just something I like to mention, because running obviously has a lot of pressure on your joints and things. And when I was looking to compete, when I was competing, it was something I wanted less pressure on. So it was always cardio, was walking form, or cross trainer, or the step machine. And it would then be a case of cardio, meals in a day, completely balanced and ready with my sort of portion sizes. So every meal would be all whole foods, all vegetables, of course, a lot of protein, and obviously your carbs. I want people to realize that you don't completely cut out carbs when you're competing. People, for some reason, have that thought process. And yeah, so it was just cardio in the morning, 6 clean, ultra clean, very, very good meals a day, and also a training session in the evening, only because I was working 9 till 6 in the daytime. But if I was on a day off, I would train around 3 o'clock, but I would have to train after work in order to make it fit my life at the time. So that's a day in the life of competing, is perfect diet, cardio in the morning, weight training in the evening, and just making sure it's all in. Yeah, you're keeping on top of everything. It has to be perfect.
So let's be real in the situation, and obviously I hope you can answer it. That sounds really regimented, which is obviously great.
It was.
You had your drive, you had your momentum to achieve that and keep on top of it. But was there any hatred towards it? Was there any like days where you just really didn't want to and you had to dig that a little bit deeper? Or when it came to food, was it just like, I just want to eat this or whatever? Like,
anybody who achieves anything great in life, and I personally believe that was something great I achieved. My whole life was focused around it at the time. You have to make sacrifices. Anyone who owns a successful business, anyone who has a successful marriage or a relationship in any way, you can't expect it to be sunshine and roses the whole way. And if you do have that expectation, you're an idiot, and 2, you're just not going to, that's not going to happen. So you've got to be real. So yeah, and that's why you then need those extra bits of motivation, drive, people around you. Like, I can't stress enough, I had you, obviously, Nick, helping me as and when I was turning up at the gym, just to give me a boost every day, having a chat with me, just sort of keep me going. I have obviously had my training partner Sanj, which you both know well. And I had my coach, Neil Hill, on the phone all the time. And I had my partner, my girlfriend. So I had a few really great minds around me, keeping me focused and driven. And that's a big part of it as well. So yeah, there were days where I didn't want to wake up. I wanted to stay in bed. Who doesn't? But I thought to myself, this isn't going to get me my British Championship title. And also to one thing that you just mentioned about that, I did have people say things like, oh, I'm sure you can have a bit of a chocolate bar, or I'm sure you can have 1 packet of crisps. That won't affect you. And all I used to think was, if you don't want to win, eat that chocolate, eat the crisps. That is what was in my mind. And that got instilled in my mind after my first competition. So if somebody'd say to me, yeah, why don't you just have some of, I'm sure you'll be all right. You look good. You'll be all right. I used to think, well, if I don't want to win, then I'll eat it. And winning was everything to me. I wasn't one of them people who wanted to stand on stage just to get some nice photos. I was there for the trophy.
You wanted to win.
100%.
The big W.
Always. Coming second was a big achievement in 2017, because the guy I came second to was phenomenal. But I wasn't, deep down, I wasn't happy. I still wanted first place.
Yeah, and I think you obviously, is there a bit of you to help you out a little bit, but you're the one who does the hours and the hard work. But I think that support network is in everything. Is a huge thing, especially when it comes to competing. And you're talking about that one moment that you're getting to actually portray this piece of art that you've put together. It becomes quite a dark journey for a lot of people as well. And I think,
it is, yeah.
I think there's times when you probably aren't the best person to be in a relationship with. You're not the best person to be around. From
I hope my missus doesn't watch this.
But it's a hard on that support network just as much as it is on yourself, isn't it? And I think you've got
there's a lot of doubt along the way, and you just need those people along the way to make sure they knock that doubt out of your head every now and again. That's all you need. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Last couple of years, obviously, you've been focusing on your little one. You've had your career moving forward as well. you know, what's coming next for you?
So in 2019, when I had the year of my son being born that year, in December in 18, that year I literally took a step back from competing, and also a small step back from training as much, but I still managed to maintain my physique into a point where I was really happy. But in 2020, for everyone, I completely went off the rails. I didn't physically train for about 3 months in the first ever lockdown. I just thought, because it kept being every 4 weeks, everything was going to change again. So I just thought, in 4 weeks, I'll start the gym again. And then it was another 4 weeks we were locked down. So I was thinking, 4 more weeks, I'll start the gym again. And it happened for 3 months, as everyone knows and remembers. So in 2020 was a real bad year for me. And that's where my whole body and physique and everything took a big sort of knock. And I think everyone's did, more than most people did, I guess. So to answer your question, what I'm doing now is I am doing a lot more YouTube videos, because I want to give as much free information and knowledge back as possible to anyone and everyone who's willing to watch. And I'm also using that. This is one of my motivational things right now, my motives in order to sort of take action. I want that to motivate me and push me to make sure I hold myself accountable for how much I train, what I eat, and I want to make sure that I become I look how I want to look again, and by helping people do it through YouTube. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm on furlough at the moment. I'll be back in work within a month. So by the last 2 months where I've been off work, I've been focusing on eating better, changing my habits, daily habits. So I've been training more, dieting better, and also making sure I'm physically, active for at least 30 to 40 minutes, 30 minutes to an hour a day of resistant training. So a bit of weight training in my garage, which you can see my setup on YouTube, funny enough. And so when I get back into work, I want to carry on my YouTube videos, and I want to show people how you can physically definitely take that dad bod, that body that you physically, sort of did let go very badly to a certain extent, and change it gradually, not like how I used to change it for my preps, where I'm doing it gradually right now. I'm doing it very, very slowly, as well as healthy, very healthy as well. I'm not eating chicken, broccoli and rice every meal. I'm actually eating foods that people would enjoy, and making it more sustainable. So yeah, and people can follow that journey right now.
Where can they follow it? What's
on YouTube.
And what's it called? Where can they find it? My YouTube channel, I've tried to keep it as simple as possible. It's just my name, so it's Shamsul Ali. You can find it, links on my Instagram and also on my Facebook. And yeah, it is literally just the most simplest and basic of sort of, to a certain extent, a very basic. I try and keep it basic in order for people to be able to follow it. And yeah, just trying to show you how just weekly things can change, change of habits, change of just daily routines. And I've got that. I've got, videos where I just talk about my habits and how I'm changing my habits every 2 to 3 weeks. And I hope it's helping people in order to sort of see you can change your body to the right way you want it to go, without having to eat chicken, broccoli and rice, or just porridge for breakfast every day, things like that. So yeah, I really hope it's making a difference.
2 parts really. So have you struggled with basically like dialing it down a little bit? So obviously the natural reaction would have been to go back into training that you've done before, which works, which is really, really intense, and the diet's really intense and things like that, to get back to the body that you really want. Now, have you struggled with that to calm it down, to actually just have more of a balance with that lifestyle? And then also, how could you advise someone who's never been on stage and doesn't have any ambition to do that, but use some of the tools that that has allowed them, that ability is allowed to happen, to use in their daily life, I suppose?
This is exactly the reason why I'm doing the videos, because I literally went so off the scales for me. I was never going to go straight back into a prep sort of diet plan, never, because I physically couldn't do it. I was I was eating takeaways every week. I was eating as and when I wanted. I was eating crisps and chocolate. So in the video series, you can actually see, and I explain in certain videos along the way, how and when I stopped eating chocolate and crisps as my first sort of pullback in dieting better. So I didn't stop eating lovely foods, like, you know, still eating pizza, still eating chips and things like that. I just cut back on my crisps and chocolate. Then a month later, I then stopped eating pizzas as much. And I gradually have done this. And yeah, you can see that. So to answer your question, yeah, it's exact. I couldn't have gone straight back into a full diet sort of prep because I wouldn't have enjoyed it and I wouldn't have stayed doing it. And the fact that I went, now that I've started seeing changes after just pulling out certain bad foods, now I'm already, I'm actually more in, well, I'm happier now to eat the diet foods that people would class as diet foods, you know, your chicken, broccoli and rice. I eat that twice a day and I actually enjoy those meals. And then I eat 2 or 3 meals of whatever I want. And now as I'm seeing more results, which I really look forward to sharing in a couple of weeks on my YouTube channel, I'm actually interested in doing, you know, eating more like that, going more towards my diet prep. But yeah, I've gradually sort of taken myself into it. So yeah, that is definitely what I've done. I couldn't have gone just from diet to from how I was living my life to a diet prep. So yeah, and that's something I talk about massively.
I think that's unfortunately that's the way, you know, the general culture goes as well, isn't it? It's from one extreme to another, you know, where
yeah, you need to find that middle ground.
We find to a point where we're unhappy with ourselves, and then we all go on a diet, and then we all start a training program. We all do this, and we go from 0 to 100, and unfortunately,
yeah, and don't enjoy
sustainable.
It.
So yeah, I think, like you say, creating those small habits or those small changes over a longer period of time is going to allow more sustainable approach.
So with what you're doing at the moment, what would be your one? Because from where you're describing it, it's literally for anybody. Anybody can watch this. Anyone can follow it. Anyone can get that advice from you. So for the, not to section it as the average Joe, but for that person that's wanting to make those changes, what would be that one bit of advice that you could possibly give to that person to start, kind of encourage them to follow that? Because instantly people compare, don't they? They do comparisons 100%. To other people, whether that's body shape, height, weight, whatever the case may be. The comparisons are everywhere, and it's almost like it's a reason not to do it because they don't look like the person that's doing it, or they don't feel like they could ever get to that place, sort of thing. So exactly. What would you give, or what would you say to those people that are doubting it?
I'm going to give you a quote that I heard very recently. So recently I read, I listened on Audible, and I've actually bought the book as well, a book called Limitless by a guy called Jim Quick, who is a brain trainer. So he's all about the brain. And there's one thing that he says in it, and I absolutely loved it. And it really you know, and this was at the very beginning of me doing my, starting this series. And it was a thing he said, it was inch by inch, it's a cinch, yard by yard, it's too hard. So it's taking it step by step. And that is exactly what I have done. So by just dropping certain foods and not even taking them out my diet completely, but just having it that I wasn't literally going to the cupboard every time I wanted to eat a chocolate bar or a packet of crisps, just reducing it first to completely reduce, to the point now I don't even feel like I crave it, which is great. It's just by doing it, breaking it down and doing it step by step. So inch by inch, it's a cinch. And obviously that's quite an American phrase, and I loved it. And I just thought, that's it. Small steps, small steps. And that's why I kept telling myself through December. And in January, I started seeing good changes. And I genuinely, and you can probably hear it in my voice, like in February, the last 2-3 weeks, oh my God, the changes that are happening to me physically right now, I'm properly motivated in everything I'm doing, because well, I'll tell you what it is I took out in the last 2-3 weeks. It's my takeaways. I was having a takeaway every weekend, and I've taken them out and replaced it with a different food company. HelloFresh, if you guys have heard of it and used it before in your life. I literally am now seeing faster results, but it was just getting me. I didn't want to pull takeaways away in January. That was the thing. I wanted my takeaway every weekend. But then I started seeing results because I was doing certain things. I was doing 10,000 steps a day, making sure I was getting my weight training session in 5 times a week, just in the garage in my home, at my home. So yeah, and now that I'm seeing the results, it's making me more motivated to do other things to see results even faster. But it's led me to that. So yeah.
Keep working
so
on
I hope that answers
though.
the question.
Yeah.
I think that answers your question a bit too much.
Yeah, no, it does.
I like it.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Okay, amazing. Right. Some awesome information there. Like, we're definitely, hopefully, people who have been watching this can take that and at least start
Yeah,
their,
I hope so. I really
start their
do.
little bit of a journey, or just I suppose the takeaway is don't try and do it all at once. Break it down.
100%. No.
So we're going to move into our famous 5 questions. Famous 5.
Famous 5.
Famous 5.
Make it 10.
So we have 5 questions that we ask every guest that comes on the show. A little bit different, a little bit outside the box, just to get to know you at a different level. And yeah, so question number 1: if you weren't in the industry that you are now, which I know you do a lot of sales and holiday homes and things like that, what industry would you think you'd kind of fall into?
At the minute, I'm actually enjoying learning more about video, like sort of YouTubes and things, so videography, and also I've been learning more about clothes brands and clothes lines and a lot more computer things, so like Shopify stores and online selling things online. So I think I would go that route, so either selling things online or videography and doing videos on YouTube.
Amazing.
So that'd probably be, I would focus my time on that.
Oh, question number 2: if you could have a meal with any 2 people, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Okay. There's 2 people. There's 2 people spring to mind straight away. So a dead person, unfortunately, is Muhammad Ali, hands down. If anybody disagrees with me on that, they're crazy. And The Rock, it'd have to be, wouldn't it? The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
I'm surprised he hasn't come up sooner, to be honest. But yeah, no, you're the first to mention The Rock. But yeah, definitely.
Oh, really? Oh, definitely. Rock all day.
I think that'd be a quite
Or
cool,
together, The Rock and Kevin Hart. If I could, that would be funny. If I could have them at the same time.
You wouldn't get worded, mate.
Nah, I wouldn't want to.
So just quickly, Sham, why those 2 people? Why Muhammad Ali and The Rock?
Muhammad Ali, growing up, I used to be a massive boxing fan. I still am. And he was my bloody, oh my God, I've looked up to him all my life. I love everything about him. His story is everything. So Muhammad Ali obviously being the greatest, and my surname being Ali, and I love it. And The Rock, because he is the most motivational, in my eyes, probably the most motivational person on Instagram right now, who I think is just showing everybody in the world that anything really is anything is possible. How he breaks boundaries is amazing.
Cool. Question number 3: if you could be anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Well, 2 places. So the Maldives is somewhere has been a dream destination of mine for a long time. So the Maldives or Hawaii, I think. Just get away. Oh, you don't want to ask me that.
Holiday, mate. Anywhere.
That's a great place. I can't remember this question.
Anywhere with a gym.
Oh, yeah.
Give me a good gym. Anywhere.
There we go. That's the answer we were actually looking for. So if you could speak to yourself 10 years ago, what would you say to yourself?
There's this little man.
Oh,
Hey, boy.
So, there you are.
It could be something you say to your little man as a bit of advice instead.
Oh God, we're there. So the question, 10 years, if I could give myself advice 10 years ago. Oh, okay. It would be think long term. Everything I've always done in the past, I've always looked for the quicker sort of answers. Always wanted things to happen fast. That would be it. 100% think long term. I just wish if I think back, I'm very grateful for the position I'm in right now, and I wouldn't actually change a thing. right now, being in my position I'm currently in. But if I could, go back 10 years, I would think long term, not short term. I used to think, I just thought too short term all the time. Don't think of the difference you can make in a year. Think of what the difference you can make in 10 is a quote I heard recently, and that is important.
Okay,
That's what I think.
And to finish up on a positive note, is there like a motto you live by, a quote? Is there inspirational, thing that you live by? Can you leave us with anything?
So I constantly read motivational quotes. I really always watch motivational videos and things. So I actually have tons in my brain. To be put on the spot to say one is different. But my main motivational thing that I love, and I'm going to do a whole video on motivation on my YouTube channel soon, is to find a motive for action. Do not wait for motivation. You will not get motivation just by waiting for it. You need to find a motive to take action. And then when you do the action, you'll see the results. Therefore, you will get motivation. So yes, my motive to take action. So change that word, motivation, scrap it. Change the word to motive for action.
I like
So
it. That's actually really good. I like that. I like that.
Everyone ends up waiting for the right moment, or actually you just need to make it.
You need to take the action, but what's your motive for it? So my British Championship finals, it really was. I wanted to make sure that when my son was born, I was British champion. That woke me up every morning at 6 o'clock. Because I knew when he was going to be born, I knew my life was going to change drastically, which it did. And I just thought, it's now or never. If I got to do it, and I literally put everything into it because that was my motive to take the action. And I took all the action I could and more. And I obviously got the result, thank God, that I got. So, yeah.
Amazing. Where can people find you? I know you said YouTube. If you got an Instagram, you could do anything.
Yeah, Instagram, Shamsul Ali, and Facebook, Shamsul Ali Fitness or Shamsul Ali.
We'll chuck the links up here anyway. But
thank you.
Other than that, it's amazing to have you on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, mate.
Very quickly,
Can't wait to see you boys in the flesh.
will we see you on stage again anytime soon?
Oh, that's a big question. I don't know.
We'll leave it on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, mate. It's awesome to speak to you. And we'll see you
cheers, guys. Thank you so much.
Okay, welcome back. Thanks to Sham for that interview. Yeah, it's really good. Great bit of information. I like the little quote at the end as well, so definitely going to put that to use. So,
moving swiftly on, we're going to now go on to this week's product review. Product with a T. This is liquid chalk. It's called Mega Grip, the original, whatever that means. So go through the instructions on the back, obviously, to make sure we're doing the right thing, according to the company. Grip improvement for all sports. So what we're going to do in a second is Nick's actually going to do a grip strength test on the bar above using said product. So, shake vigorously before use. The bottle. I'll do that bit, shall I? So, the bottle you shake vigorously. Apply a small patch to the skin. Ooh. That was a match. So rub it into the hands and you pop the lid back on to make sure that it doesn't dry out. So this is to improve your grip. It reduces the sweat on your hands, creates less mess than chalk would. And it says here, it's the best. Suitable for most sports. Slightly confusing because it says all sports on the back and then most sports on the front, but we'll take it for what it is. So, you're right?
yeah.
Okay, good. You ready?
Ready when you are.
Okay. So Nick's going to climb up and we're going to do the count to see how long he can actually hang on for. Do you want to give it a go?
Let's go for it.
You ready? When you're ready. Okay, so we'll count down. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Much later.
Wow, good stuff. Mega grip. Definitely gave me a bit of mega grip.
12 hours and 42 minutes and 36 seconds. Wow. So, Mega Grip seems to be the one for all your sporting needs when it comes to grip strength.
Okay, moving on. We also caught up with Marty Rice, owner of South Coast Powerhouse in Bournemouth. He talked to us about all things gym, maybe even how this liquid chalk could come in handy in the gym, how he started and things like that. So here's what happened.
So welcome back to Dumb and Dumbbell. Today we're joined by Marty Rice from Bournemouth, who runs South Coast Powerhouse. I know Mike for a good few years now. And as well
More
as
than a few, mate.
more than a few, yeah, we're getting
More
older.
than a few.
We're getting
Yeah.
older.
How old are you now?
So we don't talk about age. I'm 21 next week. But yeah, apart from knowing Martin in the training world, I've followed his business for a good few years, and it's great to see it grow as well. So we're going to get a bit of a background. So give us kind of your comic book episode 1. What's the background in the old industry?
Wow. Well, I got into this quite late. Well, I say late, like 2021. I left school and became a bricklayer because at the time, building a trade, having a trade was the thing to have. My old man was like, get a trade behind your son, get a trade. And 10, 15 years ago, that was the thing. But so that was my kind of impression, was to do that. So I went to college, studied, was a bricklayer till I was about 21. Self-employed, ran my own business. The running of the business was quite intriguing because I realized how independent I was and how I kind of structured my business and how I worked. Like, working for someone was difficult for me. I have no idea why. Maybe my ego, my personality, but that was something that I kind of resonated with. So I always wanted to work for myself in whatever I did. So yeah, and then I took myself back to college, actually Weymouth College. I studied sport and science, and then I think that was the time where I was linking up with you, and I remember sitting in the pub at the time. We were talking about it. We were talking like price and structure and things like that. And so I met you in the pub, which we, and that kind of propelled my want and desire to do personal training. And that kind of business aspect, being self-employed, that I really resonated with. I actually got into PT purely because I had a bad back from bricklaying, and I wanted to get stronger in my back, and that kind of led me into the gym and such.
So and
then obviously meeting you. Sorry?
Were you sporty at school and stuff, and did you do a lot of that or not?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, my parents brought me up to be very sporty. Like, me and my sister were very fortunate. We did a lot of sport at school, and that was always the backbone for our kind of education. So there was always going to be something there. And I feel like that, if I didn't, obviously I went to do bricklaying, but there was always that kind of in the back of my mind, I need to do something sporty, or I need to do something, that I can really get my teeth stuck into, that I feel that that's my path. This is where I need to go. So I'm glad that I did that, and I found it through the gym and personal training. I did some work experience in Fitness First in Poole, and some of the guys are still there now, and it's I speak to them now and then, and it's like and they watch my journey as well, and where it's gone and how it's going, and it's really interesting to look back, and people like yourself look back at like both of us, where we've been and where we're going. So yeah, did the work experience, realized I need to get myself into a gym, got myself into a leisure center, 0-hour contract, something like £6 an hour. I was just hustling on the gym floor, giving out free sessions, training whoever I could. I was training 12, 13-year-olds in their junior sessions for the schools. And then I'll be training 80, 90-year-olds working on their balance and proprioception, things like that. And that was really fun. And then I worked myself up into the management role of the leisure center. And then from there, I realized that running a gym was pretty straightforward. As a manager, you're working a lot with KPIs, with targets, and And I'm looking at these spreadsheets and I'm thinking, you know, I can do this. I can do this. I just need a bit of capital, something to get me started, and I can do this, and I can build a team around me and the way I want to run a gym. So yeah, 5 years into running a gym at the leisure centre, took the plunge, took out a business loan, whatever I could find, I saved, scrimped, and then the South Coast was born, and the rest is history, and I'm loving it.
So so for the people who don't know, where are you based? What's the
yeah, the gym is based in Kinston at the moment. We're looking to relocate, we're looking to expand, but we're finding a lot of difficulty with actually moving gyms into like industrial units, because a lot of landlords are looking for you know, industrial building. They don't want gyms. I don't know how it was for you, but it's, you know, I'm trying to jump a lot of hurdles to move the gym. But we are currently based in Kinston. We're going to be there for another year, possibly 2 years. That's in Poole. We're on the main street, so you cannot miss us. Our branding is orange and black. Like, I've gone for powerful, like audacious branding. So, and all our kit is orange as well, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things about your business is, you know, you've got a strong clothing brand that goes alongside it, and I think the image of it, and I think has that always been a big thing for you to make sure that it looks polished on both ends?
I think that was just it was kind of a snowball effect, in the fact that I wanted to set up, like, my biggest goal setting up the gym was to build a community driven gym. Like, going back to the leisure facility, when I was working there, it didn't have that community feel. And I wanted to build something, like my main two kind of values that I wanted to take into South Coast was to build a gym that personal trainers can go to and not be absolutely extortion with their rent. There were so many gyms that were taking such high rent costs, and I didn't believe that. And even through leisure facilities, they would take 50, 60, sometimes 70% of your earnings, and I didn't believe that. I didn't feel the trainers would give like the quality of session that they would do if they were getting a full pay. So that was my biggest goal, was to have a facility for trainers that they could build their craft, and I could help them build their craft and you know, earn substantial money and just enjoy what they do. And then alongside that was that I wanted to build a community driven gym, that we were very much focused about the community and giving back to the community. So leading to your question about the clothing and the supplementation, I think it was like I said, it was a snowball effect. It was just building up, and I wanted to give back as much as I could to the community, because, you know, these people are paying £30, £40 a month membership, but what are they actually getting for their membership? You know, I'm always updating the kit. I'm always trying to bring in new stuff for the members. But also I want to give them a place where they can learn, they can communicate, they can socialize. Like, we've got so many little social gatherings going on in our gym. It's great. And like, I spend most of my day there, and that's why I miss it so much, is that, you know, I'm there 12 to 15 hours a day because I love it, and I just love social, and I love helping people, and I love teaching people. And that's what, you know, I feel that gyms need to go down. And I do believe that gyms will, you know, the private gym sector, like you and I, are going to continue to grow. And I feel that the pure gyms, the big chains, are going to slowly bleed away, because people want value for their membership, and they want support, they want the social, they want the kit, you know. So they are
the difference in like demographic to your gym over, for argument's sake, the last 18 months to 2 years sort of thing, like any different age groups, or do you get variety with approaching that community?
Yeah, so like when I first opened the gym, like from a consumer standpoint, when you look back and look at the gym, you think, oh, this is a meathead's gym, you know, steroid users, big bodybuilders, powerlifters, blah, blah, blah. But it really isn't. And over the years, we, like, say, for example, we started off probably 80% males, 20% females. We're at a position now where we're 50-50. You know, younger females are getting involved into more like power bodybuilding, you know, because everyone is conscious about their body composition, and everyone is, you know, parasocial media, like everyone is working. And I think it has a benefit, it has a positive message, because people are getting fitter, people want to go to the gym, especially the girls want to go, and they want to train, they want to look after their nutrition, they want to learn about supplementation. So yeah, it's you know, we've got a kind of 50-50 male female mix at the moment. Like, age ranges, you know, they vary from, we have 14, 15-year-olds in, who work alongside our trainers, and then we have 60, 70, 80 plus coming as well. We are a free weights gym, so it's predominantly like plates, like plate loaded, but it doesn't matter, because we offer a quality environment, and we offer that social element, the atmosphere that other gyms don't offer, especially the leisure
thing, isn't it? Like you can pay $9.99 and go to a club which has got endless amount of treadmills and whatever it might be, but you don't get any support there whatsoever. The people on the desk who always signed you up haven't got an interest in training or knowledge anyway. Where when you come to a community driven club, like yours or ours here, every person on the desk or everyone walking around the gym floor is passionate about what they're doing.
Exactly. They want to be there.
100%, yeah. And whether you're an 80-year-old woman who just wants to get a little bit fitter to pick up the grandkids or whatever, like that's what kind of speaks through.
Yeah.
You talk about, sorry to interrupt. You talk about the impact of social media that is kind of self-driven part of your business, with especially that balance between male and female sort of thing.
Yeah.
You've worded it as a positive thing, but is there like a negative side of it as well? Like you talk about body composition and how people look at themselves. And stuff. Obviously, it's great that people want to get fit, but I'm sure you, as much as we do, it's tailoring that person's mindset to find out their actual why behind what they want to achieve and what they're trying to get to. I mean, I don't know what it's like for you guys there. Can you give us
it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because there's going to have negative connotation towards social media and the power of what it does. And it doesn't help that being in a lockdown now, that a lot of us are just stuck with our phones in front of us, and we're scrolling through Instagram, and it's going to have a lot of that negative connotation towards it. But we got to see these things like a positive thing. We've got to look at lockdown as a positive thing. What can we do to encourage? And I don't know about you, but in terms of like home workouts and what we've done, to support our members, is that we've stayed connected with them. Like you said earlier about your Bridport site, you're kind of pushing the more online stuff, and then Weymouth not so much. No, but what we're doing is we're supplying support. We're staying connected with our members. We're reaching out to them. A simple text message, how are you doing, goes a long way. And you'll be surprised the amount of voice notes I've had back that are like 7 minutes long, because they haven't spoke to someone in so long. It's crazy. So yeah, it's social media is going to have a negative impact, but it's just enough of us that can create a positive message. Hopefully gyms are going to be reopening within the month, and if we can get that kind of ball rolling, that positive ball, then we can kind of shift a few mindsets.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's what people got to look at is, we're a gym, but we're also a club, and that's the main thing. The people who are members of our club are an extension of us. They're an extension of our community. That it's not a case of, right, see you later on, we're gonna not speak to you now for 4 months. We have to do everything we can to treat everyone as a human being. And I need help, Ross needs help, you need help just as much as the person who's a member. So I think that's a big thing, big takeaway is make sure you're in a site which makes you feel like that as well. And don't especially when you're looking at getting back into fitness after this, make sure you're at the right place, I think is a big thing.
I think that community piece and that continued support that you're offering your clients throughout this time is only going to benefit you greatly when the doors do reopen, because yes, they may have put on a little bit of excess or been a little bit undermotivated around home training and keeping that exercise up and stuff like that. So something that we're trying to prepare for in our method into reopening again is understanding those people that may not want to necessarily come back in because they've changed, they may not have the same motivation and everything else like that. And it's a difficult scenario to put everyone into, because not everyone's the same. Some people have come back in and they've done wonders over the time and they've really benefited it. But something that we've noticed as well is over the last year or so is how sport and physical health is also a reflection of people's well-being and their mental health and stuff like that, and how they can use places like gyms like yours and ours, or even any sport, to kind of get away and that release and that
Yeah,
That's the way.
I said earlier about trying to encourage people. You know, I know the gyms are shut down, but what can we do? Like, I'm always trying to look for the positive message in this, and you know, what can we do in this lockdown that's going to help us? You know, I was saying about getting out and hiking. I've been doing so much hiking in this lockdown, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And I've committed to an Everest climb at the end of the year. You know, this is a different element of fitness that I'm kind of bringing forwards, and I'm trying to encourage other people to do so. So, you know, the gyms may not be there, but there is still, you know, some walking boots. There's still a bike that you can get on. There is still, you know, people to see outside of that gym. So, yeah, there's always a positive kind of twist that we can push there.
Yeah, you can, you know, if anything, you can become too focused on one thing, especially when you've got every option in the world, you end up going for that option.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, you know, you might not believe it, but I've actually started running, mate. You know, I've done. Is
that what they call jogging?
Done a bit of running in the last month. So,
how are you getting on with that? How's your knees?
My knees are right. It's my shins. They just get pumped.
Really?
Up, you know? Yeah.
Hey, it's all that weight you got. You're shifting.
Hey, I know. I need to get rid of this lockdown lard.
Oh, is it lard? I was talking about muscle, mate. But...
Oh, yeah, that as well, mate. There's not much fat there.
That's it.
Talking about muscle, give us a background of your competing. Any plans with, you know, getting back on stage? What's your whole?
Yeah, I'm not sure. A lot has changed in the last year. So, but yeah, the kind of history of competing is, you know, I started with you and kind of dabbled, and I loved it. I thoroughly loved it. It was the journey that journey of that 20 odd week prep from start to finish. That's what I loved. I loved that journey. It was kind of transferred into, you know, my drive, my ambition, my determination to, you know, if I want something, I've just got to, you know, apply a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, and it can be accomplished. And so yeah, started competing at like 21, so that was 10 years ago, and I've done a show every year, pretty much. So I've done 10 shows. My last show, I came third in the Midlands PCA, which was a crazy lineup. It was so competitive, and I came away like feeling satisfied that I gave my best I've ever given. Fortunately, the guy who beat me second and first then went on to the British finals and became first and second British Classic champion. So I was like, yeah, I'm happy with that. You know, I got beat by the best. So
you're basically third in Britain, then we'll say.
Third in Britain, you know, I'm not classing it as third, but you know, you can make your own minds up. That's it. So,
what's your motivation behind it? Because we spoke to Shamsul earlier on in the week, and you know, his motivation was a little bit different to everyone else's. And you know, you obviously compete every single year. Are you going out for a trophy every time? You want to be in the
I want to win, man. I want to win. I've come second, third, fifth, fourth, everywhere, every place, but first, and that is just lit a fire in my belly. And I truly believe that the more time I apply to this, the better my physique gets. So I'm 31 now. I started at 21, and just that year of maturing, and like I feel like I've got the old man muscle now. You know, I've got that grainy Dorian Yates kind of muscle. Like I get very vascular, I get very grainy, and I think that will just improve with age. So, you know, I might get back on stage when I'm 33 or 34, but you know, that will be there. I know it's there. It's not going to go anywhere. You know, I've got time on my hands. You know, like Sean Roden, he won the Olympia at like 41. So it's, you know, I've got plenty of time. But yeah, my main goals at the moment is to obviously get back in the gyms, get the gyms working, get them flying, start building up that revenue, and hope to move and relocate and expand the business. That's the kind of goal at the moment.
Good, mate. Yeah, I think it's you know, it's easy to use this time to reassess things and kind of put some proper plans in motion. And I think you know, we've done this from our business standpoint, and you've obviously done that as well. And I think you know, there is a positive to come out of all this, and I think the attention or the awareness that, you know, people's health, physical as well as mental, you know, on the outside of this, on the end point of this is going to be huge. And I think we are the obvious people to help people kind of get to the place they need to be. So, you know,
it's funny because I kind of slipped into bodybuilding. I don't know if it was through you or, you know, through other trainers and, you know, friends, but it was that initial stepping on stage, because to be a PT, I wanted to have been through the extreme fat losses, the extreme weight gains, the mental resilience that takes to, you know, change your body composition. And I wanted to experience it. You know, I hate trainers who spout this and that and say, you got to do this, you got to eat this protein, and they look like shit. You know, that's not, it doesn't bode in my books. You know, there's a lot of trainers out there who spout all these things. And so for me, I wanted to compete so I could actually empathize with my clients and go, I've done this, I've been through it, and I found a route and a solution to weight loss, weight gain, you know, adding muscle here, you know, reducing muscle here, building up the legs, etc. So that was a big thing for me. Like, I wanted to feel it and go through it, and like anything, still we're doing it till I'm 40.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. If you walk the walk, it's a lot easier to talk the talk, and you know, have that experience you can actually give to people.
Are you gonna do it again?
Am I going to do it again? Probably not, mate.
No,
I don't think so. I think I scratched an itch, and I think, you know, like yourself, like, it's a completely personal goal, isn't it? Like, it's a one, you're challenging yourself. You're only pushing yourself through it. And I kind of get the same buzz from, you know, what we do with the gyms and looking at building little businesses and things like that. And I think I really like that side of things now. And it means I can eat a little bit more nice food.
Yeah, I spout on about whole foods. Like, I just, this is my life now. I'm going to be eating chicken and rice till I die. You know, like, this is embedded into me. Like, I can't eat crap.
Yeah,
It's got to the point.
Well, you know, on the same type of subject, you know, obviously we've got people here listening that stepping on stage is the last thing they're going to do in their life, but they might be looking to get back, or get into fitness, or get back into fitness.
Yeah.
Using the principles obviously you've used before, where would you, and obviously being a trainer and dealing with different demographics all the way through, where's your initial kind of go-to points for someone to get started?
I think a key point here is enjoyment and happiness. What does this person enjoy? What do they actually seek? You know, you got some guys who despise the gym. They despise the treadmill. They don't want to do the cardio. But if you give them, you know, a football and make them go and play for 20 minutes, that's going to have a great effect on, like, a fat burning potential. So, and they're doing something they enjoy. So, you know, that for me is really important, that you kind of build that bridge of enjoyment into fitness and fat loss, if that's, you know, your primary goal. And then after I've done that, you know, nutrition is so key. And I think we live in a world now where we have source of nutrition that is, you know, is superior. Like, we've got some good butchers, we've got some good fishmongers, you know, we you know, like the fresh food market, I believe, is growing. And if we can encourage people to eat fresh, buy fresh, eat whole foods, you know, a lot of guys, you know, you can get protein bars now and all these crazy cookies and, you know, pre-packeted stuff that's so accessible that, you know, it's losing that initial and important touch in actually cooking and tasting real food. I'm a big advocate of whole foods. So a lot of my diet plans I send out, there's no, like, whey proteins in there. I'm not a big fan of it. This is just through practice and what I've achieved in my physique. And since I've been opting for a whole food diet, my physique has changed, and it's changed for a prolonged time. Like, you know, I haven't lost shape in a long time because I'm very anal about this whole food diet. So those are the two key points I would consider for anyone like listening to this.
Great, amazing. All right, okay, so that's you know, some awesome information. Learn about your kind of story into the gym world. You know, for anyone out there who hasn't heard of South Coast Powerhouse, where can we find you on Instagram, Facebook, your website?
Yeah, we're on all the social channels. Yeah, we're on Facebook, Instagram. I think Instagram is quite a powerful tool when it comes to fitness. It's a good tool for that. You know, the visuals are obviously key. We've got our Facebook groups, and we've got YouTube. We've got some videos. We've got an awesome videographer that does a lot of shoots in the gym. So yeah, we're all over social. Website, southcoastpowerhouse.com. We've got galleries, and you know, if anyone wants to come down, they're in Bournemouth area, please pop in. You know, we're you know, free session. I'll give a free session to anyone just to try the gym out and check out the atmosphere, the music, you know, and go from there really.
Yeah, I say we always try and pop in if we're around. You know, it's a very friendly place. Everyone says hello, so I think that's a key point as well. So you know, we'll kind of put it all in the stuff. Okay, right. So we're going to move on to our famous 5. So this is our 5 questions that we ask every guest that comes on the show. A little bit outside the box, give us a bit of more of an insight into you in some different areas. So, question number 1: if you weren't in the fitness industry, what would you be working as?
Working as? Well, obviously, I said earlier I was a builder, so I could be still building, but I probably wouldn't be because, again, that enjoyment was deteriorating very rapidly. So I would probably be doing something like barbering or something. Like, I would love to own my own barbershop. That'd be pretty cool.
I've got something for you, mate. We need
This hat, mate, is just absolutely ridiculous.
Hey, this is the lockdown throw. I'm just pulling it straight back now. We've got a new thing going on. But yeah, it's I'd probably be a barber. I love the kind of, and again, it's probably all like intertwined with the gym, like the social element, you know, your hands-on, your personal, yeah, or it'll be some sort of teaching element. I love teaching people, going down the kind of teaching personal trainers how to be, you know, efficient, good, skilled trainers.
I can't wait for this expansion. You're gonna have a barbers. You're gonna have like
barbers. I know.
Great.
Yeah. That's it, mate. That's where it's going. You know, gyms are going to be expanding. They're going to have, you're not just going to have your sunbeds. You're going to have like a fucking pool room. There's going to be, you know, strippers around the back. You know, there's going to be barbers and tattoo artists.
Sounds great. Question number 2, mate. So it's kind of asked in every interview, it seems, but if you could have a meal with any 2 people, dead or alive, who would it be? And most importantly, the why you pick those 2 people.
The why?
Yeah.
I thought about this and I was like, shit, I don't want to meet anyone. Like, I'm cool, you know. But the 2 that came into my mind straight away, so my gut instinct, I don't know why. It was the first one was Gary Vaynerchuk. The man is just a motivational maestro, and his business acumen is just off the chart. And I'd love to just sit down and just go through like tactic, statistics, and just listen to what that man has to say, because I feel like he's like 10 years ahead of all of us. Like his predictions, his kind of influence on the business scene is so powerful. So I'd love to just sit down and just go through his kind of his mindset from, you know, a small-time wine seller to a multi-million-pound, you know, investor and educator. So I'd love to just work out that kind of pathway. And then the second one that came to mind, I had no idea, it was Jim Carrey. Like, the man is woke.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen him recently? He is woke.
Yeah.
Something's happened to that man, and I just want to talk to him. I want to find out who Jim Carrey was and who he is now. Like, what has happened? What path has he gone along to be where he is now? And I find him fascinating. Some of his interviews are just completely, you know, ambiguous and make no sense at all. But I want to find out who he is and what he's about.
What's he taken? Amazing. Right, number 3. If you could be anywhere in the world right now, and everyone wants to be somewhere else, where would it be?
Wow. Somewhere warm, probably.
You're a sun lover.
No, I'm not. But I appreciate the warmth being in the UK.
Yeah.
We understand that. Probably somewhere in Asia. I've never really traveled Asia. I've never really been that side of the world continent. I'm like fascinated in that kind of Buddhist culture. So I'd love to kind of like step into that and take, you know, just soak up some of the culture from like the Buddhists, like Singapore, somewhere around there would be really cool. Like a real cultural trip would be pretty amazing.
Nice. Question 4, mate. If you could speak to yourself 10 years ago, what would you say to yourself?
Speak to myself 10 years ago. Well, 10 years ago, I started this business. So, you know, who knows? I would probably continue with what I'm doing now. But one thing I do remember is that during my like 20s, leaving school, you're still connected with your schoolmates, and I never took the time, and I never kind of appreciated the time that I had with my friends because of bodybuilding shows, or, you know, I want to run a business, I want to be successful, and I sacrificed my friendships for that. So I would probably go back and say, spend more time with your friends, spend more time being a 20-year-old, you know, be a bit of a dick, go out and party, and just enjoy being a 20-year-old, and the rest is history.
Nice. Okay, and then with everyone, we asked them a final question to leave us on a bit of a high, and for people at home to take something away with them. Have you got like a motivational quote? Have you got a mantra that you live by? Have you got anything that you kind of like get?
Yeah, that's, again, when you asked me these questions, I was like, shit, I don't have any of this. Like, I live on a whim. I live on the edge, Nick. Yeah, you know. But yeah, but I do listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of Tony Robbins. And one thing that Tony Robbins once said, and it just stuck in my head, it was he made this kind of analogy that we live in a world now that we have an abundance of knowledge. You know, you could just tap in on Google now. If you wanted to find out a question, it's there, you know, and that we have this abundance of knowledge, but we have such little wisdom, and there just isn't enough wisdom in this world that we can actually follow and we can learn and teach. And I think we are coming to a point where wisdom is becoming more apparent because we have accessibility to it, like the podcast, listening to people, the connection through social media. But yeah, that just stuck with me. And if I can offer anything to, you know, the business, to people, and for myself, being, you know, like an entrepreneur, if I can, you know, offer anything and I can push humanity forwards, then that's great. And I feel like I've, you know, been a success.
Awesome. That's wicked. I think
that's one, did you say?
It's up there in the top 20. So
mate, first podcast, absolutely smashed out of the bag.
There you go. That easy, wasn't it? Technical wizard once you've got the audio going.
That's it, yeah.
Okay, mate. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. This will go into our Dumbbell show. It's awesome to have a chat with you. I'll be back up to the gym as soon as we're open, and we'll.
Yeah, please do, mate. And thanks for having me. It was cool. It's cool to chat.
Right, we'll end it there. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
man.
See you soon.
Peace.
Well, massive thank you to Marty for that amazing interview, telling us all about his history and what he does over in Bournemouth. So thanks ever so much for that. That actually concludes another episode of Wait.
I've got a final thought. So this time next week, we will know about the roadmap for Boris's plan to get us out of this mess. So stay positive. From one of the quotes from our first interview, inch by inch, it's a cinch, yard by yard, it's going to be hard. So break it down into small steps, keep positive, remain calm, and all that jazz.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed this week's episode. We've had news weather, 2 great interviews, a great product review, balls and all. Join us again next week.